Over the past few years, developers have been building smaller and smaller condos, and some people say they feel more like a prison cell than a home. Now, that might be a bit dramatic, but the big question is, are these micro units a smart buy or a mistake you'll regret later? In this video, I'm going to go over the pros and cons of these tiny condos. So let's dive into the cons first, and then I'll share the pros that are keeping these condos in demand. And when you're ready to make your move in the Kelowna area, simply reach out by calling or texting the number on the screen. All right, so con number one is resale challenges. Tiny condos don't appeal to everyone, such as families, couples, or anyone planning on upsizing in the near future. That means when you go to sell your tiny condo, your buyer pool is smaller, and that can make it harder to get top dollar for that condo. On top of that, price appreciation on these units is often weaker than with the larger condos, which means that they may not give you the same boost you'd hope for when moving up the property ladder. Now, con number two is financing hurdles. This one catches people off guard. Many lenders may not finance these units, especially the ones that are under 400 or 500 square feet. That can limit your mortgage options or even force you to bring in a bigger down payment. Always check with your mortgage broker before writing an offer on these. For a lot of people, having a smaller down payment and a bigger condo will make more sense. Con number three is lifestyle limitations. Living small sounds simple, but in reality, it could be tough. Storage is minimal, working from home can feel cramped, and entertaining more than one or two people is almost impossible. Even day-to-day things like cooking or doing laundry can feel a little restrictive in these units. Con number four is strata cost per square foot. So here's another sort of hidden downside. If your condo is tiny, the building still has to cover its costs. So on a per square foot basis, you might actually be paying more, quote unquote more, than the person who owns a larger unit in the same building. And finally, con number five, there's the risk of oversupply. So developers love these units because they sell quickly at lower price points, or at least they used to. But if too many come on the market at once, rents could flatten and resale values may struggle. That's really something especially investors need to think about. And this is more evident right now in the current market than ever before. With a lot of these projects completing recently, both developers and the people who purchased these units pre-sale, they're having a tough time selling them. And some are even taking big losses just to get out of these units. And actually just recently, I saw that someone purchased one of these tiny condos for around $250,000, and they recently sold, not even 18 months later, for $180,000. So these smaller units right now at this point in time are taking a huge hit. Now, overall, it's not all bad news. Let's talk about why people might still be buying these condos. And pro number one would be affordability. Tiny condos are the most affordable entry point into Kelowna real estate. While the benchmark price for condos overall is over $500,000, micro units can start in the low to mid 200,000s or even below that in my last example there. For many first-time buyers, it's the only realistic way to get into the market, but again, only if a lender will allow a smaller down payment. For most of my first-time buyer clients, they still prefer the traditional, two-bed, two-bath condos, which you still can get here in the lower 400,000s right now with around a $20,000, $25,000 down payment. And pro number two is location. These units are often in prime spots like, say, downtown Kelowna, close to the lakefront, or near UBC Okanagan's new expanding campus downtown. So you get walkability, restaurants are close by, and nightlife right at your doorstep. Pro number three is the low carrying costs. Smaller unit, smaller bills. Utilities, property taxes, and even furnishings all cost less. Maintenance is minimal, and you're not spending thousands to fill the place with furniture that you don't actually need. Now, pro number 4 is the rental demand. Some investors love these tiny condos. Students, young professionals, and people looking for lock and leave lifestyle all create strong rental demand. Maybe not at this point in time, but hopefully in the future that it'll be unlocked again. Now, on a percentage basis, these units can bring in solid returns, especially if the rules for Airbnb were to change, then you could get a top dollar for these units on a nightly basis. Now, again, that's only if the Airbnb rules change and the building itself allows you to rent them out short term. And pro number 5 is lifestyle simplicity. For some, less really is more. So if you're wanting a minimalist lifestyle or a lock and leave second home, a micro condo can give you the freedom of ownership without the burden of a larger space. So those are the pros and cons of these tiny condos. Now this really begs the question, are these tiny condos in Kelowna a smart buy or a huge mistake? The truth is, it really depends on your goals. If you're looking for a first step into the market or rental property, they can make sense. But if you're planning long term or you need more space, the cons they'll definitely outweigh the pros for you. Now this next video will tell you all about the pros and cons of life in Kelowna.